You know that incredibly frustrating pattern? Every single time you start a new chat with your AI, you have to completely re-explain everything. You're typing out the context of your project, the background details, your notes, your preferences, over and over again. Honestly, it is utterly exhausting. Well, today we are digging into an explainer of a platform that claims to literally eliminate that problem for good.
This brings us to July 21st, 2026. GenSpark officially launched their AI Workspace 6.0 in Tokyo, right after giving the world its very first glimpse at the New York Stock Exchange. They are positioning this update as the ultimate fix to that exact frustration we all face when dealing with those isolated one-off AI conversations. They're promising a workflow where your AI actually remembers what you're working on.
Okay, let's dive into this, because GenSpark's co-founder and CEO Eric Jing absolutely hit the nail on the head regarding the current state of technology. He said that using AI today is like working with a genius who has the memory of a goldfish, right? They are incredibly smart, but the very moment you close that chat, boom, everything is forgotten. GenSpark's core thesis here is that the next massive breakthrough in AI isn't going to come from just building a slightly smarter language model, it's going to come from achieving persistent context.
Section 1. The Antidote, SecondBrain. So what's the actual fix to that goldfish memory problem? It's a persistent cloud memory they call SecondBrain. What this does is actively pull information from your emails, your meeting notes, your calls, and your documents to create one single continuous running context. It plugs right into the tools you probably already use every day, like Notion, HubSpot, and Google Workspace. And crucially, GenSpark notes that this memory remains completely user-owned, so you can review it, edit it, download it, or just delete the whole shebang entirely if you want to. Now, sitting right on top of that SecondBrain memory is something they call the super agent. Think of it as a dynamic routing system. The super agent looks at your persistent context and then automatically chooses the absolute best fit from a massive pool of over 70 different AI models operating inside GenSpark. This pool includes heavy hitters like ChatGPT and Claude. So instead of you sitting there manually guessing which model is best for a specific task, the super agent just automatically routes it for you. Let's move to and see how this builds across the 3 layers of Workspace 6.0. To really grasp how powerful this ecosystem is, we kind of have to look at its architecture. It's roughly divided into 3 equal slices. You've got the memory layer, which we just discussed with SecondBrain, the execution layer, where the actual work gets done, and the collaboration layer, where teams, both human and AI, interact. Let's rapidly blast through the tools living in that execution layer, because they are seriously fascinating. First up is GenMail. This is an email client that actually learns your specific style from past emails to draft replies, sort your inbox, and give you a morning briefing. Then there is AI Design. It can take a simple text prompt and just turn it into production-quality visuals and brand assets. And finally, AgentBase. This lets you build custom dashboards or internal trackers without writing a single line of code. You literally just drop in a spreadsheet and it builds a working system right around it. Next, we have the collaboration side, which is powered by GenTeam. This is where you can have human team members and AI agents sitting together in one unified chat channel. You can deploy a new agent with a single click and assign it a highly specific role. You could tell it to be the research assistant or the marketing lead, and it will operate right alongside your actual human coworkers, pulling from that shared SecondBrain context.
Section 3. Beyond software, the hardware shift.
GenSpark didn't just stop its software for this launch. They actually introduced a physical product acting as the literal ears of your SecondBrain. It's called the SecondBrain Note. It's an AI voice recorder that is as thin as a credit card. Contrast this with tedious manual note-taking. With just one press, this device captures a room's conversation and automatically syncs it directly into your SecondBrain cloud memory. All that information becomes immediately searchable and structured, completely bypassing the need to frantically type out notes after a long meeting.
Naturally, when you start talking about recording meetings, privacy is a huge concern. GenSpark addresses this by stating that all recordings are entirely user-owned property and fully encrypted, and they back this up with heavy-duty enterprise-grade security certifications, specifically SOC 2 Type 2 and ISO 27001. If you're interested, the device is actually available to order right now from their online shop.
Section 4. The business splits by the numbers. Now, what's really interesting about this is
The sheer scale of what GenSpark is doing behind the scenes is totally staggering, and it speaks volumes to their market credibility. Just over the past 12 months, they have achieved a massive $250 million annualized run rate by actively serving over 7,000 business clients worldwide.
This rapid growth and client adoption have propelled the company to a remarkable $2.6 billion valuation, which is backed by a total of $645 million in funding so far. So they are heavily capitalized to push this vision forward.
And they have very specific plans for that capital. They announced a planned $100 million investment into the Japanese market over the next 3 years. According to their COO Wen Sang, Japan has been a massive driver of their recent revenue growth, which, by the way, explains exactly why they chose Tokyo for this major 6.0 launch.
But internally, GenSpark is also practicing exactly what they preach. Their CTO, Kai Zhu, shared a really surprising insight. GenSpark's internal engineering system, which they call the Lighthouse Factory, utilizes almost 100% AI-generated code. To strictly control their operational costs, this internal system intelligently delegates the majority of tasks to cheaper AI models whenever possible.
Section 5. Actionable Application. Try it today.
So how do you actually use all of this? If you want to jump in and experiment with Workspace 6.0 today, the absolute most crucial tip is to start small. Initially, only connect 2 to 3 data sources, like your email, your documents, and maybe your calendar, so you don't confuse the system right out of the gate. Then, give the AI time to actually process that data. You simply cannot expect great outputs from an empty or unprocessed memory. Once it's ready, you can run through a quick sequence to test its capabilities. Check the memory context, test its generation skills, try the email drafts, and finally build a dashboard. To do that, here are the exact prompts you should try. First, to test the memory, ask it, summarize my current projects based on my connected sources. Next, to test the superagent's routing to the suite, say, make a 5-slide beginner overview based on my past work context. For GenMail, prompt it to highlight urgent emails and draft replies in my tone. When you input these, the superagent reads your request, consults your SecondBrain for the context, and automatically routes the work to the right tool.
Section 6. The fine print, limitations, and access. So the crucial point is,
when adopting a new ecosystem, it's always important to set realistic expectations. Miraculously, GenSpark has made all of these software features available on their free tier. It is not just locked away from massive enterprise companies. However, there are some limitations. The basic free plan does have monthly limits on recording transcriptions. And as you might expect, the physical SecondBrain Note device is sold separately. It doesn't just automatically show up at your door when you make a Workspace account.
But getting started with the software is incredibly accessible. The platform runs directly in your browser, and they have dedicated apps available for both iPhone and Android, meaning you can carry that SecondBrain context with you anywhere you go.
which leaves us with this final thought. If GenSpark 6.0 can consistently deliver on its promises, it really proves that the key to the future of this technology isn't just a slightly smarter model, but persistent memory. So, looking at these capabilities, is AI finally making the leap from a novelty smart chatbot to a true functioning teammate? Think about how a shared context could completely change the way you work today. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it.